Hi everyone, this is Heather from weddingsbyheather.com, where my goal is to equip you with the best techniques and tips to make you a better and more efficient photographer. In this video, I'm going to address cloning issues inside of Photoshop, but first, make sure you check out my free video series available on my website. In a previous video, we looked at this gap in Angie's eyelashes, and we used the clone stamp tool in order to fill that gap. But occasionally the clone stamp tool does not work well in situations like this. So I want to give you another technique to have in your tool belt in case it doesn't look natural for you. I'm going to delete that layer. And again, as I mentioned previously, prior to working on this photo, I ran my Retouch Action, which is available on my website. So there's the before and there's the after. You'll notice I softened skin. I increased the density in her eyebrows and also in her lash line. So again, there's the before and after. In order to use a different technique to work on this photo, what I'm going to do is take all of the layers that I currently have and I'm going to merge them up. And that is on the keyboard, Command Option Shift E. On the PC, that's Control Alt Shift E. And what that does is it takes all the layers that you have, it merges them together and then puts a new layer on top of all of those. I'm going to use my marquee tool by pressing M on my keyboard, and I'm making sure that I have the rectangular marquee tool. I want to zoom in a little bit more with Command or Control Plus. I'm going to press spacebar just to pan a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here and I'm going to grab some of these lashes. So I'm just going to click and drag over these lashes. Then I'm going to right click inside of that selection and choose Layer via Copy. Then I'm going to press V on my keyboard to access my move tool, and I'm going to move these lashes right about here. Now obviously that doesn't look good. We need to use a layer mask in order to improve that. So I'm going to add a layer mask by clicking the icon at the bottom of the layers palette, pressing B on my keyboard in order to access my brush tool. Remember, when you're working with layer masks, white reveals, black conceals. I can see that I have a very large black brush. I'm going to use my left bracket key in order to make that brush smaller. And what I'm going to start to do is just brush out the area that I do not wish to see. So obviously the edges and below, right through here. And then I'm going to press V on my keyboard again to move that over just a little bit. And it's kind of looking repetitive and it's going at an angle that isn't working. So what I'm going to do is use my free transform tool in order to align it better. I'm going to press Command T on my keyboard to access that tool. Place my cursor beyond the outside of the corners of the box, any corner will do, and click and rotate just a little bit to make that angle a little more pleasing. I'm going to press Enter or Return to commit that change. And that looks pretty good, but I want to fill in a little bit more here. So what I'm going to do is go back to layer 1, which was just that copy of all of the other layers. Grab my marquee tool again by pressing M and grab some of these lashes. Click and drag to select. Right click inside of the selection, layer via copy, V on your keyboard to move that over a little bit. And I'm actually going to drag this to the top of the layers palette. There we go. I'm going to add a layer mask. So I'm essentially repeating the steps I've already done. B on my keyboard in order to access my brush tool. I make sure that I have a black brush because white reveals, black conceals. So I'm going to conceal some of that just so I have the lashes, and you can turn that layer on and off to see what you have. And then I'm going to align it. So I'm going to press V on my keyboard to kind of drag it down here. I'm going to press Command T in order to rotate it a little bit this way and maybe bring it over a little bit more. Press Enter or Return to commit that change. I'm going to press B to access my brush tool again because I see I need to mask some of that area. Oh, and I went too far, so I press X on my keyboard to reveal that again. And there we go. Command minus or Control minus to zoom back out. And I could turn those layers on and off. That was that one layer and this layer. And I still don't like the way layer 2 is repeating, so I'm going to mask it a little bit more with my brush tool set to black just to get some of that so it looks a little bit different. And all I'm doing is masking until it looks a little bit more natural, using my move tool, that's V on the keyboard, in order to align it a little bit better. And it's looking whoops, X on my keyboard. It's looking much better now. I kind of like the way that looks. So I'm going to turn that one on and that one off. And if I turn on the overall before and after, let's zoom out so we can get a better perspective. And this is holding down Alt or Option on my keyboard and clicking the visibility icon layer next to the background layer will toggle all of the layers off and all of the layers on. And I think that looks really good. Again, this was for those instances when the clone tool does not work well. This obviously takes longer, so I'm going to start with the clone tool, but if it's not looking how I'd like, then I'm going to move on to this technique. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.